Hey everybody, Josh here. Welcome back to my channel. I do a lot of videos on IT, cybersecurity, education, and career things. And today's video, we're going to be setting up Azure Sentinel, which is a cloud-based SIEM, as well as a virtual machine in the cloud, which is going to be our honeypot. We're going to make it like super vulnerable to the internet. And then essentially we're going to monitor and log like a lot of attacks from different IP addresses from different countries, like all over the world. We're going to take that data and kind of display it on a map so we can see like where all the attacks are coming from. The motivation behind this video is if you look on Indeed or like any job site for cybersecurity jobs, a lot of them require a SIEM experience. You'll see like SIEM like all over the place. And kind of the purpose of this video is to give you the chance to get some exposure to a SIEM without having worked in an actual company that might be using one. So we're just going to kind of set one up. We're going to inspect like only failed RDP logs, put them on a map, and I think you'll be able to learn a lot from this process. We're going to do like that whole setup process, like setting up the VM, ingesting the logs, transforming the logs, all of that good stuff. At the end, you'll have a pretty decent idea of how they work. Maybe watch this video a couple of times, practice a lab a couple of times, and then you can put something on your resume that looks like this. And I will say, like, if you just want to like see the attacks, go ahead and like skip to this timeline. You don't have to like watch the whole setup of everything. You can just kind of look at the attacks and like how the attacks have been progressing over time for this particular lab. So just a super high level overview of what we're going to do in this lab. First, we're going to create our Azure subscription. It's free. You get like $200 worth of free credits. Next, we're going to create a virtual machine in Azure. We're going to kind of turn the external firewall off for that VM, and we're going to turn the Windows firewall off as well. So it's like super exposed to the internet and like anyone can ping it from any country. Normally, you wouldn't want to do this, but we want our VM to look like really enticing to attackers, and we want people to discover it like really quickly. So we're going to like turn off all those firewalls. Next, we're going to create a log repository in Azure called a log analytics workspace, which will be used to ingest our logs from the virtual machine. And then we're going to set up Azure Sentinel within Azure. That's just essentially Microsoft's cloud native SIEM, which we're going to use to create a map that maps all the different attacker data. So we can kind of see like what country and stuff they're coming from. We're also going to use PowerShell in this lab. The purpose for this is normally like when you try to log into a Windows machine and it fails, you get like some information like where the IP address of like where the failure came from or like where the attack came from, but you can't necessarily see like the country and latitude and longitude and all those things. So we're going to use PowerShell to kind of extract the IP address from the Windows log and send it to like a third-party API. And the API will derive the latitude, longitude, and like state and province and all that stuff and send it back to our virtual machine, which we'll then use to kind of create a custom log with geographic data in it, if that makes sense. Super interesting, definitely very useful. And I'm going to make another video like dedicated to this specific PowerShell portion. So look forward to that in the future. It's a super interesting process, and I think you'll be able to learn a lot from it. I know the way I'm kind of doing it is like a little bit of a hack, but I'm kind of doing it that way just so you can kind of understand like what's happening at a lower level and like really get the whole process of what we're doing, like getting the attacker's IP address, getting the geo data from it, sending it to Azure, mapping it, and like all those things. So I think if you watch this and like practice the lab a couple of times, you'll have like a really good understanding of how things work, and you'll be able to probably expand on it and maybe even like improve certain areas where I built inefficiencies into it. And I will say like one of the main features of a SIEM is to be able to like create triggers and create alerts on certain things, but I'm not going to create like triggers or alerts or anything in this lab because it's already like getting kind of long. We're just going to extract failed logon data and ingest it into Sentinel and kind of map it on a world map so you can visualize where the attacks are coming from. So yeah, if you're interested in getting some SIEM experience or interested in Azure Sentinel or any of that, you know, feel free to like definitely watch this whole video. It's going to be super interesting and useful for you. And again, if you just want to see the attacks like in action, go ahead and skip to this timeline. But yeah, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our Azure account, and you will have to enter a credit card for this, but you'll get $200 worth of kind of free Azure credit that you can use over the next month. And you definitely won't use all of this up for the lab. But yeah, go ahead and create your free Azure account. So just to interrupt super quickly here, I forgot to include this in the video. When you're totally done with this lab, just go to like Azure and then go to your resource groups and then make sure you delete the resource group that has all of our resources in it. Otherwise it will like eat up our subscription cost. So just go to like, we're going to create this resource group. So just go in here and then just click delete resource group and type the resource group name, and just make sure you totally delete this when you're done with the lab, just so it cleans up all the resources. Okay, that's all. And then once you have your subscription created, just go to portal.azure.com, and then you will be greeted with something that looks kind of like this. So the very first thing we're going to do, because it tends to take a while to process, is we're going to create a virtual machine. So go up here to the top and go to virtual machine. This is the machine that's going to be sitting out on the internet, like exposed to the internet, essentially, where all the different people from the different countries are going to attack it. They're going to start trying to log into it once they discover it's online. So this is going to be our honeypot, I guess you could say. So go to create and say virtual machine over here on the left. And we'll create a new resource group. A resource group is just basically like a logical grouping of resources in Azure that usually share the same lifespan. So everything in this project, we're going to put it in the same resource group. So we'll just call it like honeypot lab or something and say okay. And then for the name of our virtual machine, we'll just name it honeypot. Yeah, just honeypot, or honeypot-vm or something. And then we'll put everything in West US 2. This is like the geographic region where they exist, like which data center they're going to exist in. And image is fine, size is fine. Your size might be different by the time you do this, but just leave the default, it will be fine. And just make a username and password. It doesn't really matter what it is, but just make sure you remember what it is, because we're going to use this to actually log into the virtual machine later. Cool, and we'll leave all this and we'll check this box and say next. And then we'll go next to networking. And then we're gonna, under NIC network security group, this is kind of like a firewall. You can think about it like a firewall. So we're gonna go to advanced here, and then we're gonna create a new one. And this firewall is gonna be essentially like open for everything to the public internet. So there's this kind of default rule here. So we're just gonna remove it, and then we're gonna create our own inbound rule that allows everything into the VM. So the destination port, we're gonna put a star for anything, any protocol. Action allow, priority, we'll just make it low, like 100. And then the name doesn't matter. I'll just name it like danger any in, something like this. This is going to essentially allow all traffic from the internet into our virtual machine. And the point of this is for our lab, go ahead and click review and create, and then click create here when you can. The point of this is for the lab, we want to make the virtual machine very discoverable by any means necessary, whether people are doing like TCP pings, or they're doing like SYN scans, or they're doing like an ICMP ping. We want the virtual machine we don't want it to like drop any traffic, essentially. We want it to be discoverable quickly, so people can kind of discover that it's online and then subsequently start attacking it. Normally you wouldn't want to do this, but for the lab, we want to like make it enticing and discoverable for people. So now the virtual machine is creating. This is going to take a while, so we're going to make a log analytics workspace next. So go to log analytics workspace, and the purpose of this is to kind of ingest logs from the virtual machine. We're going to ingest like the Windows event logs, and we're going to create our own custom log that contains geographic information, so we can kind of discover where the attackers are coming from. So to do that, we're going to create a log analytics workspace. This is where those logs will be stored, and then our SIEM, Azure Sentinel, will connect to this workspace to be able to display that Geo Data on the map. So we'll just go to log analytics and we'll create one. And for the resource group, we made this resource group in the last step when we were making the VM. So select honeypot lab, and then we'll just name this, I think I can name it this, law for log analytics workspace. I'll just name it law honeypot 1. And then for the region, again, just put it in West US 2. And then we will review and create. And then create, make sure to click create in the end. And then next, we're going to go to Security Center. And then we're going to enable the ability, so click Security Center, enable the ability to gather logs from the virtual machine into the log analytics workspace. So once you're in Security Center, go left to pricing and settings, and then click the log analytics workspace we just made. And then we're going to turn Defender on here, and then we're going to turn SQL servers off because we don't need to actually do anything with SQL Server. And then we're going to save it. And then on the left here under data collection, go ahead and click this. And then we're going to collect all events and then save this. And once that's saved, we're going to go back to our log analytics workspace, and then we're going to connect it to the virtual machine. So go to log analytics and then click your workspace. And then on the left, there'll be a virtual machine somewhere. So just click, this is the VM that we made in the very beginning. So just click connect here to connect to the virtual machine. And while this is going, I'll go ahead and I'll just open up a new tab, to be honest. So I'll go to portal.azure.com, and then we're going to set up Sentinel now. And this should be super fast. So we'll go up to the top again and set up Sentinel. This is our SIEM that we're going to use to visualize the attack data. So click Azure Sentinel, and then we will create Azure Sentinel. And then we just pick the log analytics workspace that we want to connect to where all of our logs are. We only have one, so we'll just pick this and we'll add it. And we'll just kind of let this go in the background. Then we'll go back to this other tab. Looks like the log analytics workspace is still connecting to the virtual machine. So let's just browse to the virtual machine, and then we'll try to log into it if we can. I'm not sure if it's done. Oh, it looks like it's done creating. So we'll click on our VM here, and then we will click the public IP address here. We're going to log into it with a remote desktop and start doing stuff in there now. So click your start menu on your own computer, and then type remote desktop, and then just open this and then paste the IP address. And I'm gonna like change my display settings. I don't want it to like be maximum. Cool. So we'll say connect, and then say connect, and then click on more choices, and then use a different account if you have it. If your thing just looks like this, then you can just type the username and password that you created when you first created the VM, and we will log in. Josh. And then just accept the certificate warning. And this will take like a second to log in. It's actually good that I failed that first login attempt, because we can like actually observe that in the logs, which we'll talk about once we get logged in here. So just say no to all of these things. They're unnecessary. Cool. So once you get logged in, click the start menu. This is inside your VM. You can tell because if you go to the top of the screen, you'll see the IP address here. So try not to get confused between your actual computer and the VM, but this is the VM. I'll just say yes to this. And go ahead and set up Edge, because we have to use it later anyway. So I'll just say complete setup. Just continue without signing in. And then we're going to, inside of the VM still, click on start, and then go to event viewer. We're just going to look at some logs, and I'll explain some things a little bit, which we're going to use for our Geo map. And the first time you open event viewer, it takes a while to load. So we'll go to Windows logs here and then click on security, and we'll just wait a little bit. You can see it's kind of hanging, so I'll just wait for this to load. Cool. So our events loaded, and basically these are all the security events on this actual virtual machine that we have. So you can see we're going to be focusing on event ID 4625. So I'll just, because it's if I expand this, you can see audit failure, and we're going to be gathering like all these failures of people to log into the virtual machine through RDP. So I'll just double click this just to kind of show you what's inside of it. You can see like this is like the username that the person tried to use to log in, which was me. Again, you can see it here. And this is the target machine that we're on right now. And then you can see the failure reason is like bad username or bad password. And then there should be like an IP address somewhere in here. For some reason, I do not see it. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to fail to log in one more time. So this is the VM, so I'll make it tiny, or I'll minimize it. And then I'll go to my computer, not the VM. And I'll open remote desktop again, and I will paste our VM's IP address, and then I'll try to log in with like a username of joshfailed0 with like a bogus password. Also okay, and then I'll go back to our virtual machine here, and I'll refresh this. Then we can see like an audit failure right here, which is like our failure to log in. And now we can see it. This is like my workstation, which I tried to log in from, and then this is my IP address from where I tried to log into the VM and failed from. So this is what we're going to be using. After people start discovering this on the internet, all of their IP addresses are going to be here. And there'll be like a whole bunch of different ones, because people from like Istanbul and Russia and like China and like Vietnam and like Germany, like a bunch of random people are going to be trying to log into our computer. But we don't see any like information in here that's like indicative of where they're coming from in the country. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the IP address. We're going to do this programmatically, by the way. We're going to programmatically with PowerShell, like take this IP address and then use an IP geolocation API. So we're going to use this website that has an API. Essentially, we're going to post this IP address to the API, and then the API is going to return this kind of stuff like the country it came from, the state or province, the city, like the latitude and longitude. And we're going to kind of use this here to create our own custom log, and then we're going to send that log to Log Analytics Workspace in Azure. And then we're going to use Sentinel, the SIEM, to kind of read the latitude and longitude or the country, and then kind of plot out the different attackers like on the map ultimately. So I will show you how to do that. So, but first thing, I want to make sure to like turn the firewall off on this so it's susceptible to, or so it can respond to ICMP echo requests, so people can discover it on the internet faster, if that makes sense. So first thing, I'm just going to like minimize our virtual machine again. So this is the VM, and I'm gonna go to my actual computer, not the VM, but my actual computer, and then open command line. It's right here. And then I'm going to ping our virtual machine and do like -T for perpetual ping. Oh, it's already accepting. Oh, this is my own IP address. Oh my God. So this is our virtual machine's IP address is here. So this 20.106. So I'm going to say ping 20.106.95.25, which is our virtual machine. I'll do like a -T for ping. And then you can see it's like timing out. So I'm going to go to our virtual machine, maximize this again, and I'll go to start, and I'm going to open the firewall, and I'll just turn it off. I could just enable ICMP, but this is like honeypot and I don't care. So just open Windows Firewall, wf.msc, and then just click Windows Defender Firewall Properties, and then just go to Domain, turn this off, Private off, Public, turn this off, Apply, OK, and then minimize your VM. And then you can see like the ping is now starting to work since echo requests are allowed. So go ahead and close this command line, and then back in our virtual machine, it gets kind of confusing. Just be careful you don't, do stuff in the VM that you mean to do in the VM. So we can close this. We'll close this event viewer. And then I'm going to download a PowerShell script. So I'll put this link to this in the description, but it's just a GitHub link. So we'll go here, and then this custom security log exporter, click on this, and go ahead and you can just download this, but if you download it, it gives you this like security warning and stuff. So you can download it, or you can just like copy it from line 1, like all the way to the end, whatever this end happens to be for you. So just copy this and then open PowerShell ICE on your VM. We're on the VM, remember? So we'll say new, and we'll paste it. And then we're going to save this on the desktop. We'll just name it like log exporter, something like this on the desktop. And I'll close this, and I'll kind of make this a little bit bigger. So without getting into too much detail what this script does, I might make a separate video about it later, but you don't have to care about it too much. The only thing that you have to do is you have to get your own API key in order to convert the IP address to like longitude and latitude and all that stuff. So pretty much it's really easy to do. All you have to do is go to this website here, which I already opened. So just go to this website, this ipgeolocation.io, and you can simply say sign up, and you sign up. And then once you sign up, it will give you kind of this number here. Just get yours and paste your own here. And then you can essentially just run the script and it will work. If you don't have your own API key, it just won't be able to get the Geo Data, and you won't be able to get like latitude, longitude, country, and all that stuff. So, and of course mine won't work. I'm going to change the key after I upload this. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and run this. Basically, the script runs in perpetuality. It just does a loop. And essentially what it does is it just looks through the event log that we were looking at earlier. It looks through the security log, grabs all the events of people who failed to log in, and it grabs like their IP address, and it essentially just gets the Geo Data for them and then creates a new log file. Also, I'll mention the log file gets output to this place right here, this C program data. So if I go here, this program data folder is hidden, by the way, so you have to go to it like manually. If there's no log file in here, it will automatically like create a default log file with some like sample records in it, which we're going to use later to train Log Analytics Workspace to kind of accept and parse out our custom log. That will make sense later, but just trust me for now. So after you get your API key, just paste it in here and then just run your script, and you can see it runs. And this kind of purple output down here, This will come like whenever there's a failed logon in the event viewer. So basically what's happening is it looks through the event viewer for the failed 60, what was it? I forgot. These 4625 failed logons. It takes all of these out, sends them to this API, the IP address, gets this country in Geo Data, and creates this failed logon log file here. So if we open this, we can kind of see it. These first few lines, these are like the sample data that we're going to use to train analytics workspace. And then the rest are actual kind of real failed logons. And these two at the very end, these are just me. You can see like Josh fail 0 and then Josh admin when I failed to log in those 2 times. These are like the actual real ones. And then when we go to plot this on a map, don't worry about these sample ones showing up. The way we do our query, we're going to exclude everything that has sample host in it. So this is a log file essentially. So I'll show you real quick. I'll minimize this. This is our VM, by the way. I'll make this a little bit smaller. And so whenever someone finds this and tries to log into it, it automatically will like log it to a file. So I'll just fail one more time. I'll go back to my actual computer, not the VM. And then I'll try to log into the VM one more time here. So so you can see it live, 106.95.25. And I will I'll say Josh fail 1 this time. Fail login. Okay. And you can see down here, another log file came through got my latitude, longitude from the API, all this stuff. And all this other stuff. And then if we open this failed RDP, you can see it got logged down here too. So that's pretty much how this works. Now we have our custom log and we have our script running. You can see it's running because the stop sign is here. So when people start finding this, they're going to start trying to log into it, and then we're going to get like a lot more entries here. And one more thing I got to say before we continue, if you get like the free API key, it's only good for 1,000 API calls per day. That seems like a lot, but it's like not that much when people start discovering your virtual machine. I bought that one for like $15 or something just so I could have more like requests so I could make this lab for you. But you probably don't need to buy it. You probably don't need to buy the API for it. But anyway, I'm going to minimize our virtual machine for now and go back to Azure. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a custom log inside of our log analytics workspace that will allow us to bring that kind of custom log with the Geo Data into our log analytics workspace. So go up here in Azure, just type log analytics. And we'll go to our workspace here, this honeypot, and then we'll go to custom logs somewhere, custom logs right here. And then we're going to add a custom log. And the first thing it wants us to do is it wants us to add a log file. But remember, like the log file that we're using, it's actually on the virtual machine, like not on our actual host computer. So we're going to go back into our VM and just essentially copy the log. So we will go to, you can do Windows key R to kind of open this thing here, and we'll just go to C program data and we'll just copy the contents in it. So just open it up in Control A, Control C to select all. We'll just copy all these and then we'll minimize our virtual machine. And then we'll just open up Notepad on our PC. And just paste the log in here. It's going to look all crazy, but don't worry about it. This is our log. So we'll just save this. We'll just save it on the desktop. Just name it failed rdp.log. And this is just going to be used to kind of train log analytics what to look for in the log file. So now we can just click this to browse to it, and we put it on our desktop. And I named it failed rdp.log. I wonder why the date is different. And say next. And we can kind of see what it looks like here. This looks correct. Yes. This looks correct. Our 3 failed ones at the bottom. So we'll just say next. And then the collection path, this is where the log actually lives on the VM. So you'll remember it lives in like C program data failed _ rdp.log. And if you're not 100% sure, you can always go back to the virtual machine here. And you can see it here, C program data, and then failed rdp.log. You can just copy or cut this and then simply paste it here, but you have to make sure this is right, otherwise it cannot collect the log, right? So we'll say next, and then details, I'll just name it this failed RDP with Geo, and it will automatically append the CL at the end. That means custom log. We'll say next, and then we'll just simply create our custom log. And while this is creating, it's going to take a while for it will create the custom log immediately, but it will take like a while for like the log analytics workspace and the actual virtual machine to sync up and like actually bring the log into log analytics workspace. But to see it, I'll just show you right now. If you go to logs and you type like See, if you type failed RDP with Geo, yours might not show up yet, but you can see this here. You can click on it, erase that, and then run this. And then when it comes in, you'll kind of see the custom log entries here. But right now, we can check like security event. Security event is just the Windows event log, so I'm pretty sure that's coming in already. So if we say run, you can see like all these entries. This thing right here that we're looking at here, if we go back to the VM, that's essentially this Windows event log right here. But it's just being brought into Log Analytics Workspace. So for example, security event, and we can say where event ID equals 4625, and then run this. This will return all of the failed RDP logs. For some reason, I would have expected to see 3, but anyways, these are the failed RDP logs. If you expand them, you can kind of see the stuff in here. Like you can see the IP address, right? And account failed to log in, and then you can see my username that I tried to log in with, JoshFail1, and so forth. So I'll just wait maybe like 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll wait for this to start actually like showing the logs we're looking for. So I'll pause the video, come back in 10 minutes, and then I will check it again. Okay, so some time has passed, and if I click run, a whole bunch of logs come through. This is all of our sample logs, and then the final kind of 3 where I failed to log in, if that makes sense. So if we go back to our VM like real quick, let me open up this kind of line here, these long lines. This is like our custom log entries, right? So if we go back to our Azure portal, this column right here, this raw data column contains essentially like that whole line, if that makes sense. So the next thing we have to do is we have to like take this raw data and we have to extract the certain fields from it. See how there's like a time generated and like a computer here, and then this raw data that has like all the logs in it, and then like this kind of other stuff over here. We have to like extract this data to make their own fields. So we want to have like a latitude field here, and like a longitude field, and like a country field and stuff. So to do that, this part might be a little bit tedious, so bear with me, I guess. So basically, you just expand one of the logs, it doesn't matter which one, and then click the 3 dots here, and then we'll say extract fields. And you can see this is our raw data log. You can see like latitude, colon, let me zoom in a little bit if I can. Latitude, colon, then it shows a latitude, longitude, colon, and then it shows a longitude, destination host, colon, and then it shows the host. Basically, we just have to extract all of these, and I'll kind of show you how to do it. You just highlight the field. So we'll do latitude first, and we'll highlight this value, and then we'll call this latitude, and this is a numeric. So we'll extract this, and then we just have to look over here and make sure all the fields look proper. This is the whole point of having that kind of sample data, so we can train this extract process. And it looks relatively accurate. Sometimes you'll see like some random things highlighted over here, but this one looks good. So we'll save extraction, and then this is our same log here. So we'll click the 3 ellipses again, and we will do the longitude next. So we'll highlight the value for the longitude, and then longitude, and then numeric, and we'll extract this. And then you can see this one's screwed up a little bit. So the first one is correct, highlighted longitude, and then for some reason the second one highlighted the latitude. So we have to edit this. We'll modify this. This is the process of training the extract algorithm, I guess. So we want the longitude, so we'll highlight the longitude here, and we'll say okay. And then this one got fixed, and then this one here, this is not highlighting anything. So we'll fix this one. So longitude here, longitude value, longitude, okay. And so that one's fixed, and this one's fixed. Longitude, all of these look good. Longitude for the most part. These ones are messed up, so let's fix these. And we will highlight the longitude here, and it's numeric, extract, and these ones are fine. And there's 2 different ways you can plot countries. You can plot on the map, by the way. We can use latitude and longitude, and we can use country. So I captured country as well in case our longitude and latitude get like too messed up. So don't worry about that too much. You'll see what I mean when we start plotting things on the map. So this longitude looks good. So we'll save this, and then we'll keep going with the extract fields. Next, we're going to extract the destination host. Although I'm not sure we need this, but let's extract it anyways. Oh my God, I messed up. Destination host. This is just our target VM that's being targeted, the destination. So we'll say destination host extract. And you can see all these sample hosts got selected, which is correct. And honeypot VM, which is our actual logs. This all looks correct. So we'll save this extract. And you kind of get the idea for this. If you don't want to watch me doing these and you're not actually doing it, feel free to like just skip ahead. But I'm going to keep doing the extracts here. So next one is we're going to extract the username. So I messed up. So fake user, and this is going to be username. This is a person's name that they tried to use to log in with, or the username. So username, this looks accurate so far, because it might be different things sometimes, right? This actually looks good. So we'll save this and we'll keep going. We have a few more. Source host, this is the IP address of the host that attempted to log in. So source host. So we'll extract this. Just make sure the correct IP, like the actual IP address is being selected in all of these. Sometimes it selects something weird, as you've seen, but this actually looks good. We don't have to fix anything with this one. We'll keep going. And next is going to be the state. So we'll select the state/province here. I'll just call it state. It might be province, right, depending on the country. So state Washington, Sao Paulo, North Holland, New York. See, this one's messed up. It's selecting the username for some odd reason. I don't know why that is. So state, Penang, state, yes. So this one's fixed. State Istanbul, state null. Sometimes there's no state associated with the attacker. So in the PowerShell, I coded it to just come out null. State North Holland, state blah, blah, blah. Looks good, looks good. Okay, the rest look good. So we'll save this. And just a few more. So we'll extract fields again. Next is going to be the country. I suspect this one's going to mess up because sometimes there's spaces. So country.cf, custom field. This one looks good. This one is not good. It selected the state for some reason. So we'll fix this. Country, oh boy. Oh boy. Country, Brazil. So we'll extract this. Country. Looks good. Country looks good. Country, Russia. And these three failed for some reason. So let's fix this one. Country, United States. Country, extract. And country. Those look good. This looks good. Looks good. Hopefully this will be fine here. So extract. And we'll keep going. And last time we did country. So this time we're going to do the label. We're going to use this to label stuff on the map. So I just called it label, which is just country-IP address. So we'll just name this label extract. This actually looks good. This looks good. And the algorithm did a great job this time, actually. So we'll extract this. And then one last one is the timestamp. So we'll do one more extract. And we will extract the timestamp value here. And then we'll just name it timestamp. And then this is going to be date time. So extract. And I suspect this one will be fine. Yep, this looks good. And the more records you have for sample records, the more accurate your extract algorithm is going to be. It might get messed up, sometimes. And when that happens, basically I'll show you. Actually, before I go into it too much, we'll go back to, this is our log analytics again. So we run this. And you can see here, like our stuff that got parsed out, like the timestamp, label, country, all this stuff that we made extracts for. But there's no data in here actually yet. So the data will come in on the subsequent logs. So the next time someone fails a login, the data will be parsed out and put in these fields properly. But to see these, if you go over here and you go to custom logs, I always lose it for some reason. Oh my gosh. Go to custom logs, say okay. And then this is our custom log we made a while ago. And then this custom fields, whenever we make an extract that we were just doing, it creates a custom field here. And in the future, if you find when you get more data coming in, more people are failing to log in, and you find that like the latitude is messed up on some of them, or the longitude, or any of these are messed up, you can always come in here and like just delete the field that's getting messed up and then just redo the extract for it and like train it with more records, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if that doesn't make sense or if you have problems, but these should be pretty good for the most part. So I'll run this query and let me see. And you can kind of see no new logs have come in. So if I go to the virtual machine, you'll kind of see there's still these 3 original ones. Our VM hasn't been discovered by the hackers of the world yet. So I'll just try to fail one log onto it to make sure the log comes in and gets parsed out. So I'm going to open remote desktop. This is on my actual computer, not on the VM. So I'll just type our VM IP address in here, and then I'll fail the login one more time just to make sure our logs are coming in and getting parsed out correctly. I'll just name this one Josh failed to bunch of junk password. Close this, and then we see we got like another log here. Subsequently, there's a 4th one for me failing here. And then sooner or later, I'm going to minimize the VM. This is back in log analytics. In like a few minutes, we should see the login here, and then we should see the actual fields being parsed out of it, if that makes sense. So I'll go ahead and pause the video, and I will come back when the log starts getting parsed out. Maybe 10 minutes, I'm not sure. Okay, it's only been about 5 minutes or so. And if I run this, you can see all the previous logs, and then we can see here our 4th log, my failed login. You can kind of see this, the parsed out fields came through, and I think it looks okay. The timestamp is here. I believe this must be a possibly UTC timestamp, I believe. Yes, it is. And then the label looks good. Country and IP addresses. Country, United States, looks great. State looks good. Longitude and latitude, I believe that looks good, actually. Was it latitude 47, longitude -120? Please be correct. Latitude 47, longitude -120. Oh, it actually looks good, to be honest. So, cool. So our logs are coming in. All we have to do essentially is kind of wait for the bad people on the internet to discover this. But in the meantime, we can kind of finish setting up our map in Sentinel. So to do that, I'll leave this log analytics open, but we'll go to a new tab and go to portal.azure.com if you didn't already, and then just go to the top and type Sentinel. And we can just click on this. We set it up earlier. And if you go to overview, you can kind of see, this is like the general Sentinel dashboard. You can kind of see logs that are coming in. You can see this like failed RDP with geolocation, and it kind of like lists them out here, lists the different events out. The security event is like our event logs from the actual virtual machine, but we're going to set up our actual map, that geo map here in the workbooks. So we'll click on workbook and we will add a new one. And then we're going to click edit, and then we're going to remove these 2 widgets. These are just kind of default widgets that come with the workbook. So I'll just remove these, remove one more. Yes. And then we're going to add a query, and then let me see. I will paste the query here. I'm going to need to modify this a little bit, I believe. So failed RDP with Geo. I'll put the correct one in the description, or you can just copy exactly what I end up putting here and it will be correct. So we're going to select, this should be actually source host, latitude, longitude, and we want the label, I believe, label.cf. And where we don't want, let me look at our log again, like really quick. We don't want to include where the destination host equals sample host. So we want to exclude that. Where destination host CF does not equal sample host, because we don't want to bring those logs in. So let me try to run this. Actually, we want the country too. Country.cf custom field. So let me try to run this. Cannot resolve expression named destination host _cf. Let me see. What did I name it? Destination host _cf. What? Let me just remove this for now and then run this. So this looks good. And I want to exclude. Oh, okay. Oh, I have to gather destination host. That's why. So destination host CF run query. Okay, this looks good. And then I also don't want to include anything that is blank, right? So I'll say, actually, I think I can do this so it's more easy to read. Where, because you see like there's kind of two records here and like this one's blank. So I'll say where source, I'll just say source host.cf does not equal, empty string, and I'll run this. So this looks good, actually. This looks good. And we want to visualize this by a map, right? Like a world map. So we have our world map here. We have our query. I'll put this in the description, actually. So maybe you can just like copy and paste it. We have our world map here, and then you can plot stuff on the map by the country. So we have our country field, or we can use the latitude and longitude field. So I'll just show you latitude and longitude first, because sometimes the lat and longitude doesn't like parse out correctly, and it's like really annoying. I'm not joking. I've recorded this lab like 10 times trying to like figure that out. But so we'll say latitude. This is our latitude field that we got from the Geolocation API. Longitude field, and we'll just say apply to this, and boom, we can see right here. This is where I live. Right. So at least it shows up. That's remarkable. I'm going to change the map size to full. Very amazing. And so we can go down here and like see it says like metric label. Like how do you want to label the metrics down here? So we can label it by, we'll label this by label. That's why I made that label field. So we can see it's like really hard for you to see, but it has like the country dash IP address. And then the metric value shouldn't be latitude. Should be, event count, and say apply. So we have like essentially one failed logon from the United States from this IP address, essentially. And alternatively, if you find you're having issues with like the latitude and longitude parsing out, you can always, the map setting, you can always plot by country or region. And then you pick the country field, and all you have to do is say country like this, and then say apply, and then it will show it in the country. You see it's like not necessarily from Washington, but at least you'll have like something on the map, and the country usually it extracts more easily than the latitude and longitude. So I just kind of did both in this lab. So you can kind of experiment with both of those, but I'll just go with latitude and longitude for now. And if it starts screwing up when other countries like start, attacking, then we can like, retrain the extract, or we can like change how we plot the data, if that makes sense. So I'll just set it to latitude and longitude. I'll just say apply. See, it goes back to where I was. For now, I'll just save this and close it. And then I will save our map here. And then I'll just name it failed RDP world map, something like this. I'll just save it in West US2, and I'll save this, and I will say done editing. And then we have our map. So I'm going to wait, maybe a day, maybe hours, I don't know. I'll wait a while, and I'll come back to this, and I'll look at it. I'll refresh it, and then see if other people have finally like discovered our virtual machine, and see if like other people are trying to log into it. So you can turn on auto refresh, just set it for 5 minutes, and then save this. And then just a reminder, going back to our VM, this kind of PowerShell script has to be running. This is just like a proof of concept implementation. There's much better ways to go about like extracting IP geo data and like all this, but I really wanted to do it in a way that like it makes sense to you, like what's going on, and just, I don't know, a way to like really kind of easily see like all the steps, like extracting geo data using the API, ingesting it into Log Analytics Workspace, mapping it out in Sentinel. So just make sure this is still running, so when subsequent logins fail, that they'll be recorded. Because if the script is not running, all the failed logins will go to the like Windows event log, but they won't go into our custom log, which is what we need for like the extraction of the geo data. So 106, I'll just fail one more just for the heck of it. So we'll say, what did I do last time? Josh failed 2. I'll do Josh fail 3. Just fail this, and then another thing will come here like so. And then, after some time goes by, maybe like, 5 minutes or however long it takes, that log will get synced to Log Analytics Workspace. This query will run inside of Sentinel, and then this will increment by 2 essentially, and then that's kind of what will happen. So I'll just pause this for a while, and I'll come back. Hopefully, some bad guys will discover the VM by then, and we'll see something interesting. And oh, by the way, I came back like 2 minutes later, and this thing incremented by 1. So we kind of know our kind of pipeline into Log Analytics is working. So yeah, I'll pause this for a while, couple hours, then I'll come back. Okay, it's been a few hours actually, and then I came back, and it looks like China is actually trying to get into our virtual machine. But it looks like I think I misconfigured the map a little bit because the US bubble is massive and the China bubble is like smaller. So let me go and edit this because China has brute forced more. So I believe that the China kind of bubble over here should be bigger. So I'll edit this, and I will go to map settings over here. Size by, I should do size by event count. It was sizing by latitude before, and because this latitude is larger, it was like sizing by it. So I'll size this by event count and say apply. And now the US is smaller, and then China is big, as should be reflected. So I'll just apply this and save and close. And can I save this? Overwrite their changes, I guess. Oh, that's weird. I wonder why. Oh, okay, it got saved. And then I'll just say done editing here. And then we have our map as it is right now. I'll leave this open for a while longer to see if we can get some more. But going back into the VM really quick, we can see, oh wow, look at this username they're trying. That's really bizarre. I've never seen that actually. I've never seen people use like different Unicode characters to try to log into a computer. Let's see what this actually even says. That's so interesting to me. It's probably, oh, I guess that just translates to user account. That's so interesting. Looks like they're trying to do / as the username too. VN. That's so interesting. Yeah. So, yeah, some people in China are trying to brute force into it. So I'll let this run like a little bit more and see if we can get some more countries and more interesting traffic. So yeah, I'll be back in. Well, for you it'll be instant, but yeah, I'll be back. Okay, it's been another couple of hours, I believe, or at least an hour and a half, and it looks like Taiwan is starting to get in on the fun, apparently. So I'll refresh this map again. I don't know why this is taking so long. I'll look inside the virtual machine like really quick here too, and we can see, oh, that's so interesting that someone from Taiwan is trying to log in with the WDAG utility account username. Someone from China is trying to log in with admin. And Taiwan is like going relatively hard too, as you can see. Close this, and then here's the map as of right now. Taiwan like already caught up with China almost. 312 attempts, China 438 attempts, and US 2 attempts. Those are like from me, so I guess those don't really count. But yeah, I'll pause this again, and we'll come back and look at it in either a few more hours or tomorrow or something, and see the progression. Okay, it's been a little bit longer, maybe like another hour or something like this. Looks like the Philippines started. Whoa, it was like 2 a second ago. Now it's like 249. Yeah, Philippines started brute forcing now. So you can kind of see national capital or region in the Philippines. They're trying to log in with the username admin. I mean, that's pretty cool, I guess. They really went hard though. But yeah, it looks like it's still going too. You can see it scrolling. I'll probably go to sleep at this point. It's already like almost 10:30. And then I'll check this in the morning. I expect like it's going to be like a lot more come the morning, but I guess we will see. But yeah, alrighty. Have a good night. I'll be back in like one instant for you. Yeah, bye. Okay, I just came back from the post office and Starbucks because someone gave me a free Starbucks gift card. And it's the next day. It's 8:45 a.m. And let's check this. I can already see there's like a lot of activity going on right now from Russia and stuff. So let's check the actual map here. And amazing, look at this. There's so many attacks from like all over the place. Let me like refresh this even. So we have like a bunch from Russia, like all these like little red and yellow and orange circles. These are all from Russia. Like you can see like one entry for Russia here, like another one here. There's probably like more, but for some reason, like, I don't know, they're not showing up. Maybe my map is like poorly done or something, but there's a bunch from Chile. There seems to be one from what looks to be Southern California, a couple from Washington. And then you can see like the Philippines like went pretty hard. It looks like almost 3,000 from the Philippines, this big bubble here. And then a bunch from Taiwan, bunch from China, and almost 600 from India. So I'll kind of I have like a meeting or a kind of semi interview at 9 in like 15 minutes. So I'll kind of just like leave this, and then I'll probably go out and like do some other things, and then kind of finish up this video. And then I'll come back and like look at the map like one more time, and then kind of see what it looks like at that point. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Remember, these are all like just remote desktop login attempts from all over the world. There's probably like certainly there's a bunch more other attacks going on, like because like a SMB is open, like 445 is open like over the internet. So no doubt a lot of people are trying to authenticate through there, but this map is like only showing remote desktop login attempts. But yeah, I'll be back again, and for you it'll be instant, but yeah, I'll see you soon. Okay, I'm back for the final time. It is now 12:29. October 29th, and this is pretty much what the map looks like. It looks like the majority of these are coming from Russia. So there's like a bunch of overlap, it looks like, in Russia, from like different parts of Russia. And then a lot of like Asia and Southeast Asia, like really going hard on the VM. Like I honestly expected to see more from like Langley and like Virginia area, honestly. Like usually when I do this, the East Coast, Washington like discovers it pretty quick, like around Washington DC, Virginia area, right? You know who lives there essentially. But yeah, it's really interesting to see. Guess Netherlands just gave it a crack, a single try. France gave it a single try, a little bit in Chile, but not since maybe earlier today or last night. Whole bunch in Russia, whole bunch in China and Philippines, and in Taiwan, Thailand, India. But yeah, it's really interesting. I hope you enjoyed this lab, or at least watching the attacks going on in the background. Just like a few takeaways, I guess, is like as soon as anything gets put on the internet, like whether it's like your computer or like whatever, even if your phone has like somehow a public IP address that's routable for some reason, like people are going to try to get into it, like no matter what they can do. They don't care if you're like a big business, or if you have intellectual property, or if you're Mark Zuckerberg, or if you're like, a homeless person. They don't care. There's just bots like scouring the internet for hosts to like get into. So it doesn't really matter if you have anything or not. Regardless, you're going to be like a target of opportunity if your like stuff is open. And secondly, a good takeaway from this is why you should try to avoid using the password of administrator, because you can kind of see like that's one of the most guessed usernames. And if you don't have that username enabled like in the first place, people are going to be guessing like all these weird usernames like Sophos and like TS user and like DVR, and like we don't even have like a username named that on our system anyway. So try to avoid like using really common usernames like administrator, and like anyways you should be using like some kind of multi-factor authentication anyway, or like restricting access to RDP to like just the general internet. That shouldn't be like a thing anyway in the first place. Also, another reason like you should consider using a strong password is just another layer of defense, because look how many attempts. It hasn't even been 24 hours. It's been like what, maybe like 18 hours or something since I let this VM live, and it already has like, what is this, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,500, 8,000, 9,000, almost 10,000 login attempts from like around the world. So, make sure you have like strong password, multi-factor authentication. Don't use like common usernames either. Again, like nobody cares if you're a big target. If you exist on the internet, like I didn't even like really advertise this to anyone. I just spun it up and like, look what's happening already. It just happens to be online, and like all these countries trying to attack it. And it's funny, like I feel like Africa and like Australia like looking pretty docile here. I expected to see like at least attacks from like every continent, but like hasn't even been 24 hours yet. Like no doubt if I leave this up until tomorrow, there's going to be like even way more, right, as the host becomes more known. But yeah, hope this was useful. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave comments. I always read everybody's comments, always respond to everybody's comments. So yeah, practice this a few times if you want, put it on your resume. But yeah, let me know what you think. Comments, criticism, anything like this, just let me know in the comment section, and we will see you in the next video. Bye bye.